You're watching the big story here on Mirror Now. I'm Mamta Balachandra. Let's take a look at the top headlines. From Rewari to Kadarpur to Palwal, schoolgirls across Haryana step out in protest, demand protection from sexual harassment. Family member of a Sarpanch caught on camera assaulting a woman in Mirpur district of Haryana. The same person also seen sharing a stage with the Chief Minister at a function. Haryana Chief Minister has all the time to visit a bird sanctuary but no time to set his state in order. No word yet from the CM on the lawlessness in the state. After the Green Tribunal's rap, Karnataka Pollution Control Board cracks down on industries polluting Bellandur Lake, forcefully shuts down factories dumping waste. Protesters manhandled outside Queen Mary School in Delhi. Angry parents were protesting against the school after a minor was allegedly abused by the school cab driver. And superstar Rajinikanth keeps his date with fans but keeps the nation guessing on his political plunge. Straight up to our big story. A day after the National Green Tribunal slammed the Pollution Control Board for failing to take action against the polluting industries, the board on Friday started from ground zero by forcefully shutting down industries that were polluting the infamous Bellandur Lake. Remember, the Bellandur Lake has been toxic for a long time now, and the NGT has repeatedly slammed the Karnataka government upon inspecting the industries within the 5-kilometer radius. The Pollution Control Chairman Lakshman has now listed 76 industries for immediate shutdown. This action by the board comes in the backdrop of the tribunal taking the board to task for just issuing notices and not working on ground.
A day after the National Green Tribunal slammed the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, in fact, the board that is on Friday physically inspected all the industries within the 5-kilometer radius of the Bellandur Lake. In fact, we understand that on Thursday they had asserted before the NGT saying that, in fact, they had asked the industries to shut down. However, the NGT had raised a question saying that not to just send out notices but to physically go to the location and the spot and to bring the shutters down, and that's exactly what the Pollution Control Board did on Friday. In Bengaluru, Shrija for Mirror Now.
The Pollution Control Chairman Lakshman has listed 76 industries for shutdown. That's the latest we're getting on the toxic Bellandur Lake. That was what Shrija, who's been tracking the story, was getting us. In fact, the action by the board comes in the backdrop of the tribunal taking the board to task for just issuing notices. In fact, on the story, we have Sridhar Pabisetti of Nama Bengaluru Foundation joining us on the phone line. Sridhar, how do you view this latest move by the Pollution Control Board?
I think this has been a much delayed move, but we are glad that at least the action has begun now. What's really important is for us to keep at this campaign to protect Bellandur Lake and do all the measures that are required to protect and revive Bellandur Lake. It has been a real long battle of even getting these industries shut down, where Pollution Control Board had used the opportunity to just give closure notices and think that that is enough to satisfy us and the National Green Tribunal. Thankfully, the National Green Tribunal looked through this ploy and said that we are not interested in your affidavits or how many closure notices you have given. Please tell us how many industries have you shut down, how many have you sealed, and for how many of these industries have you cut water and electricity supply. And I think this is really a great landmark movement where the rule of law that citizens can look up to and enforce has really started to work.
Well, it is a landmark move indeed. The NGT has slammed the government, the Pollution Control Board, and the Pollution Control Board chairman has now listed 76 industries for shutdown. But tell us this, Sridhar, the NGT has repeatedly slammed the government, repeatedly slammed the Pollution Control Board, saying that notices are just not enough.
Absolutely. I mean, The NGT actually expressed anguish to the council, to the learned council representing the government of Karnataka, and said, "Why do you think we gave the order that we gave last month? The order we gave was to really see action on ground and was to really see these polluting industries shut down. Now, if you come back to us after a month and say that, the best that we have been able to do is only issue closure notices, then definitely you are not doing what the NGT wanted." And I think this is what we have to understand, that, somewhere in our governance, we are failing multiple times over and over again of not achieving the end result that we all want. The real result that we all want is lakes that are devoid of sewage, lakes that are devoid of industrial pollutants, lakes that are devoid of construction and demolition debris and municipal solid waste. Why is it so difficult that we can't achieve these four objectives at Bellandur Lake and also all the other lakes in the city of Bengaluru? Which means that the governance is failing, and hopefully Pollution Control Board will uphold this mandate for not just Bellandur Lake but all the lakes in the city of Bengaluru.
In fact, Sridhar, do stay with us. We have Nasir Hussain of the Congress Party also joining us on the phone line. Mr. Hussain, tell us this: 76 industries listed for shutdown. But why does this happen that every time the NGT slams the government and only then the government takes action?
The decision to shut down industry around this lake, maybe it has come a little late. But as I had mentioned in your earlier discussions on your channel, that this is something for which the decisions can't be taken on a particular day. Various agencies are involved in this in Bengaluru city, and the various agencies should sit down and take decisions on different counts. And the government has been planning. Government has been trying to implement things. Before this, they have also come up with the residents across the lake has to pay some cess, and then they have to own up this lakes. These kind of ideas have been coming up where the government is proactive in getting these things done. So even if it has come after the NGT decision has come, so let it be. What is harm in that? Even after the NGT is a government body, when it has come out with a decision, if the government in the state is clamping down on the...
But Mr. Hussain, tell us this: how has the government been proactive when there is no action on ground? Even the NGT has said that they don't want 100-page reports, they don't want notices just slammed, but some action on ground.
Ma'am, see, the government has to work with certain procedures. The government has to work with certain set procedures which are there. Overnight, you can't have a procedure. You can't have an action without going through the procedures. The notices have to be served. Enough time has to be given. If you don't serve the notices, if you don't give time, your own channel will come out with a debate saying that the innocent people are being harassed, their buildings are being brought down, and all those things. We have seen this when we were doing. When we were trying to clean up those encroachments on stormwater drains, what did happen? Your own channel said that we have to remove all the encroachments. When the government and the BBMP went after the encroachers, then your own channel had come out was doing debates that some innocent people are being targeted. So the government has to follow the procedure. They have to follow the rules, and these rules are laid down by the previous government.
Is there a plan in place then? Is there a plan in place? Also tell us now, how do we know that the government does not seek one more month's extension now? It's already had one extension now. The NGT has granted an extension already.
See, the government will have to decide how much time it needs. It is not just one agency dealing with the Bellandur Lake. There are various agencies which has to be coordinated in this. And you can't clean up the mess which has been done for decades and decades together in 1 month or in 1 day or in 10 days. It needs time. It needs proper planning. It needs time. It needs expertise. People sitting on the channel and giving ideas are welcome, but that doesn't mean that has to be accepted. There has to be committees, there has to be experts, there has to be...
has been on for nearly a decade now. I want to get Sridhar back into the conversation. Sridhar, tell us this. The government saying that they need more time to implement the order, but do you believe that now that the NGT or the National Green Tribunal has given them 1 more month's time to implement the present order, will that be implemented?
Actually, Mr. Nasir Hussain exposes the moral bankruptcy of the Congress government. They are so much held up with satisfying the vested interests that they don't even have time to read up the Environmental Protection Act, the Water Act and the Air Act, in which the procedure is clearly laid down that polluting industries don't need notice to be given, they can be shut out forthwith. So it tells how much of vested interests have captured the government of Karnataka that Mr. Nasir Hussain is trying to give such long-worded action of how they want to defy the National Green Tribunal order. I do hope he understands that defying the National Green the order of a court actually holds them liable for contempt, and they don't try to mess around with that.
Tell us this, in the previous order, the problem that the NGT also pointed out was the fact that the Pollution Control Board had only issued notices. Now they've said if industries do not comply within reasonable time, disconnect their electricity and water supply and seal the polluting industries. The chairman has now ordered 76 industries to shut down, but if that does not happen, do you believe that the Pollution Control Board will monitor going forward?
I don't think the Pollution Control Board has any option now. The Pollution Control Board tried to duck under the guise of saying that giving closure notice is compliance. Thankfully, the NGT yesterday, when we were in the court, the NGT clearly mentioned that I'm not looking for closure orders or 100 and 200 page affidavits from your government which are worth nothing. What we need is action on ground. And I think it's a point of self-reflection for Mr. Nasir Hussain and his government, if they care to do, is to say, how come they are not even trusted by the National Green Tribunal? Their affidavits, signed affidavits, are worth nothing. And it is important that Mr. Nasir Hussain also tells us how after 4 years of their government being in action, the lake continues to suffer. You can always blame the Britishers, we can always blame Tipu Sultan, we can always blame the Ganga and Chola dynasty.
Let me get Nasir Hussain in on that point. Mr. Hussain, tell us this. Now that you've sought for an extension, the NGT has granted that. Will the present order be complied with?
See, I think the government has sought an extension with the intention of implementing the order. The NGT is a government agency. There's no denying the fact that there are various agencies involved and they have to be coordinated. Everything needs little time. Mr. Papi Shetty and his foundation are known for backing a particular political party in the country. But
Mr. Hussain, you're getting personal, on this show. But please tell us, don't deviate from the topic. Tell us this: will the present order be complied with? Will you monitor these industries, and will the Pollution Control Board take to task those industries which open up? And if they do open up,
you have to allow me to complete. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
You just can't intervene. You allow the other panelists to speak whatever they want, and then you don't allow me to speak at all.
Please go ahead.
So Mr. Papi Shetty and his foundation are known to be the backers of a particular political party. They have never been active when the party which they supported was in power and when they were messing up with everything. So let him not give me lessons as to to which vested interest our government is interested. The whole world knows what we did with the stormwater drains and the encroachment upon it. The whole world knows the kind of work that is being undertaken in government. We know who has messed up with Bellandur city. The whole world knows in which government from 1999 to 2004 the Bellandur city was put up on an international map. So let him not give me lessons. He and his foundation are there in public domain. Everyone knows who's backing they have. Everyone knows whom they support. So let them not give me lessons.
So Mr. Hussain, answer my question. Will the present order be complied with?
Please. The government has asked for an extension. the government has got an extension, they will definitely try and implement the NGT order, and they have to. Anyway, they have to respect the another government agency which has given the order.
Fair enough. So there you go. The Karnataka government saying that the present order will be complied with, something that we'll keep a very close watch on. But here's the latest update on the toxic Bellandur Lake. The NGT has slammed the Pollution Control Board yet again. The Karnataka government had sought an extension to the earlier deadline to comply with the order that the NGT had given, and that has been granted. But the Pollution Control Board has now also listed 76 industries for shutdown according to the present order, which comes as a good news and a major relief to the toxic lake. Now, this action by the board comes in the backdrop of the tribunal taking the board to task for just issuing notice and not working on ground. And the NGT has turned around and said that don't just issue notices, but actually show some work on ground, something that we'll keep a very close watch on here on Mirror Now. Moving on now, superstar Rajinikanth addressed fans today in Chennai, hitting back at those calling him an outsider. The superstar said that the people of Tamil Nadu have made him a Tamilian. However, Rajinikanth still looked in no mood to clear the air surrounding his much talked about political debut.
நான் ரஜினிகாந்த் தமிழனா தமிழனா அப்படிங்கிற கேள்வி. எனக்கு இப்போ 67 வயசு ஆகுது. 23 ஆண்டு தான் நான் கர்நாடகத்தில் இருந்தேன். 44 ஆண்டுகள் உங்க கூடவே வளர்ந்த கர்நாடகத்திலிருந்து ஒரு மராட்டியனோ ஒரு கன்னடக்காரனோ நான் இங்கே வந்திருந்தா கூட நீங்க என்னை ஆதரிச்சு அன்பு கொடுத்து பேரும் பகலும் பணம் எல்லாத்தையும் அள்ளி கொடுத்து என்னை நீங்க தான் தமிழனே ஆக்கிட்டீங்க. நான் பச்சை தமிழன். எங்க மூதாரு எங்க அப்பா எல்லாம் நாச்சிக்குப்பம் கிருஷ்ணகிரியில் பிறந்து ஆல்ரெடி சொல்லிருக்கிறாங்க. நீங்க என்னை எங்கேயாவது போ, இங்கிருந்து வெளியே போ அப்படின்னு சொன்னா தூக்கி போட்டா நான் இமயமலையில போய் தான் விடுவேன், தவிர வேற எந்த மாநிலத்தில் போய் விட மாட்டேன். ஏன்னா தமிழ் மக்கள் நல்ல உள்ளங்கள் இருக்கிற பூமியில இருந்தா இங்கே இருக்கிறோம்.
Talaiva's date with fans, the week-long date with fans ends today, and he remains mum, of course, on the political debut. Now, while the whole nation is talking about will he, won't he, we want to know what the fans want. In fact, on that note, we're joined in by Shabir from Chennai. Shabir, tell us this. What exactly are you picking up from fans? The entire country is talking about what Rajini will do, but what do the fans want?
Well, the fans are 100% convinced that Rajinikanth is taking a political plunge because Rajinikanth has made similar statements in the past, and there is a huge difference in what he has said in the past and the current statements that have come from Rajinikanth, because it's a clear political message that he is sending across. And the situation here in the state is quite different from what it was 20 years ago. There was Jayalalitha, there was Karunanidhi, the two giant politicians from Tamil Nadu, and now Jayalalitha is no more and Karunanidhi is not into active politics. So there is always a space for a third leader, and Rajinikanth is trying to garner that, to capture that particular space is what his fans feels, because at this point in time the state of Tamil Nadu is facing a huge leadership crisis. There is a vacuum, and there needs to be someone who needs to ensure that the people look up to him, and Rajinikanth seems to be that choice. So that is what the fans are looking at this point in time. And what we also can tell our viewers is that Rajinikanth has made his intent very clear, that he is inclined towards joining politics, because earlier he has made similar statements, but today's statement was extremely different, because he made it very clear that there is talent, there is Anbumani Ramadas, there is Tirumavalavan, there is Seeman here in the state, the Tamil politicians. But what needs to be done is that the entire system needs to be changed, because the system itself is corrupt, and there needs to be a change in the mindset. So that is what Rajinikanth wants to do now, because he has been making all these political statements for the past 5 days, and Rajinikanth is someone who will shy away from media, who will not interact with media on a daily basis, and he is someone who will not meet fans, because he is meeting fans after 8 years. So that is also something which is extremely different from what we saw earlier. And now Rajinikanth is answering all political questions that are raised by reporters. He says that he doesn't want to answer all those political questions, but he is engaging the media into that debate of whether Rajinikanth is taking a political plunge or not. So things are quite different, and it appears that Rajinikanth seems to have had some kind of plan in place, and he is working on a strategy. Whether Rajinikanth is going to go ahead with a new party, or whether he is going to join the BJP is a big question, because there is also an open invitation from the BJP asking Rajinikanth to join the party. Leaders have been openly talking about it. There have been overtures that have been sent. There have been leaders who have been addressing the media, saying that we want Rajinikanth into the party, because the BJP is desperately trying for a face as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. Down south, they want a face to carry forward the legacy of the party, to show them that they have a popular face in Tamil Nadu, so that the party, the party goes ahead, and they will have some kind of attraction towards this popular star. So definitely there are multiple options for Rajinikanth, but we will have to wait and see what the superstar is going to do.
Well, what will the superstar do? That is a big question indeed. But also tell us, Shabir, you were very interestingly pointing out that it's been 8 years since Rajinikanth has actually met his fans, and the 5-day-long meet and greet has actually ended. So what is the sentiment you're getting from fans at this point?
Fans are excited because they haven't met Rajinikanth for past 8 years. They haven't heard Rajinikanth making political statements, dropping hints to his fans as to what he is planning. So clearly there is a political message that Rajinikanth has sent across. The fans are they are on cloud 9, and in fact what we are being told is that the fan club members are actually trying to consolidate the base to try and ensure that Rajinikanth's fan club is intact, so that if at all Rajinikanth is going to take a political plunge, then he converts his entire fan base into a political party. So all these discussions are going on among fans, and also Rajinikanth has made it very clear that he will also be traveling to the other parts of Tamil Nadu to meet his fans. So there is some plan that Rajinikanth has in terms of taking a political plunge. But what happened in the past 1 week is that Rajinikanth has made his intent very clear, that he is inclined towards joining politics. Whether he is going to join any political party or whether he is going to float his own political party is the big question. But what we understand is that in 2019 there will be a new player as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned.
Right, Shabir, do stay with us. In fact, what's fueling the rumours of Rajini's political ambitions is that once known as a guarded celebrity, Rajinikanth is now seemingly more vocal. It's been 20 years since he's come out and spoken about politics. It's been 8 years since he's met his fans. Listen in to what he said on the first day of his interaction with fans.
So, அந்த மாதிரி தான் ரசிகர்கள் ஆகட்டும் இல்லை இது நம்ம போஸ்ட்போன் பண்ணது. ஸோ எனக்கு இன்னொரு இது இருக்கு. ரஜினி ஒரு படம் ரிலீஸ் ஆகும்போது மட்டும் அவர் ஏதாவது ஸ்டண்ட் பண்ணுவார், ஏதாவது சொல்லுவார், படம் ஓடுறதுக்கு ஏதாவது யுக்திகளை பண்ணுவார் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு உங்களுடைய ஆசீர்வாதத்தால உங்களுடைய அன்பாக நான் அப்படி பண்ண வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை. ஏன்னா என்னுடைய ரசிகர்கள் அண்ட் தமிழ் மக்கள் இதுக்கெல்லாம் வந்து ஏமாற மாட்டாங்க. அவர் என்னமோ தெரியாது, ஏமாறுதல ஒண்ணுதான் ரொம்ப ஏமாறுறாங்க. அது இப்ப நான் சொல்ல விரும்புகிறேன். அதாவது அரசு வெந்தாதான் சோறாகும், பணம் நல்லா இருந்தாதான் வெற்றி அடையும். என்ன தலைகளா கொட்டிக்கணும் அடிச்சா கூட ஒண்ணுமே செய்ய முடியாது.
Well, Rajinikanth there addressing his fans. Of course, Shabir stays with us. Shabir, tell us this very strong messages coming from that speech that he's made there. He said, of course, that I will call you when there's war. Political system must change.
Well, that's right. When Rajinikanth says war, it means he is trying to hint at elections. So that is what one can understand, and that is how politicians are looking at his statement. Because just like that, Rajinikanth will not make any kind of statement unless and until he has some kind of plans. On the first day, Rajinikanth mentioned that if at all he is taking a decision, then it will be a well thought of decision. And clearly, Rajinikanth has dropped adequate hints today because 5 days ago, Rajinikanth made a speech. At that time, people were skeptical. And today, he has made certain remarks, and people are convinced with the fact that Rajinikanth is trying to do something. Yes, he is trying to take a political plunge. Yes, he has made his intent very clear, and he is also inclined towards joining politics. So that is the larger message that Rajinikanth has sent across. Yes, he has not done one thing, that he has not announced the name of his party. So at this level, the fans are upbeat. The political parties here are closely monitoring the developments. So what happens next is something which will be interesting. What is Rajinikanth going to do? Whether he's going to have another round of meeting with all his fans, whether he's going to go on a tour all across Tamil Nadu to try and galvanize support from his fans and other people. Because Rajinikanth clearly mentioned one thing. Yes, there are politicians in Tamil Nadu. There is M.K. Stalin, there is Anbumani Ramadas, Tirumavalavan, Seeman. All of them are doing a great job. But what needs to be done is change the system, change the mindset. So that is something which is needed at this point in time. So Rajinikanth is, it appears that Rajinikanth is on a campaign mode. So that is what one can say after listening to his speech. Because all along I have been following Rajinikanth, and I know that Rajinikanth will not make any kind of political statements unless he has something in his mind. Because we have been following Rajinikanth, and Rajinikanth entering politics is a 20-year-old story. So this is something that we have been hearing for the past several years. And what we understand is that Rajinikanth making such a huge statement, making a political statement, is something which he will never do otherwise. And now, considering the fact that the entire political situation in Tamil Nadu is quite different from what it was 20 years ago, Rajinikanth seems to have been seeing an opportunity. So there is an opportunity for Rajinikanth at this point in time, and that's the reason why we could see Rajinikanth making political statements, making his intent very clear that he is here to take a political plunge. Back to you.
But what will the superstar do? That is the biggest question. Shabir, thank you so much for getting us those details. Now, Rajinikanth has been keeping his cards close to his chest whenever questioned about his political debut. Whenever Rajinikanth was questioned about this issue, he did not give too much away.
Sir, just 1 minute, sir. Pon Radhakrishnan wants you to join the BJP. Are you willing to do that?
No comments. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And also on the farmers' issue, sir, the drought situation.
Actually, what I have to convey, I conveyed day before yesterday. All right, and I have nothing more to say at present regarding that. Thank you.
On that note, there Rajinikanth, of course, keeping the nation guessing. Will he make a political plunge? Will a new party emerge in 2019? That is the biggest question the nation is asking. Will he meet his fans? All of those things we'll keep a very close watch on here on Mirror Now. With that, we have to wrap things up here on The Big Story. Stay with us.